They all dropped out now. It's only me fighting out of all the boys that started. I think when I first started, I lost my first 10 fights. I'm not a trash talker. I would, someone started trash talking me, I'll chat back. You gotta listen. You gotta listen to your corner. That's what's gonna get you through a fight. Listening.
There he is. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us, Joshua John.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome to the SPRTER Podcast. Let me introduce you to our audience.
Okay. You okay?
So we have Joshua John on the line, professional boxer from Wales, Port Talbot to be precise, starting his pro debut in 2019 and has got a 7-1 record, so extremely successful, and has fought a total of 50 rounds. He's also got experience store set up on a SPRTER app. Anyone interested, head over to the SPRTER apps, check out his experience store there to connect with him. Let's delve into it. Welcome to the show, and talk me through, how did you start boxing?
How did I start boxing? My original coach, Pappy, he opened up a gym just opposite my house. So me and all my friends, we all just joined at the same time, really, when I was about 9, 10. Yeah, it was just a gym just opened outside opposite my house.
So you joined the gym at 9 or 10. You're like, let's box. And from there on, how did you go about? I'm sure some of your friends are still fighting, but I'm sure a lot of them dropped out as well, right? So how did you decide to, hey, this is for me. I'm actually really good at this.
Yeah, no, I mean, they all dropped out now. It's only me fighting out of all the boys that started. I think when I first started, I lost my first 10 fights.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was quite easily to quit. But, yeah, I just stuck out. I don't know why. I think I won on my 6th fight and lost another 5. But then I think I was just chasing the win, the feeling of winning.
So you lost the first 10 fights.
I lost 5. I won my 6th. Then I lost another 5. Then I didn't lose.
It does take quite a bit of it. It does take a special mentality to be like, look, I've just lost 5 fights in a row. Let me do this again. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, well, I won one, but another loss. But that type of mentality, you said chasing the wind. What does it feel? What does that mean, chasing the wind, to you?
I don't know. It's hard to explain. I mean, I was only 10 years old, so I don't know why I didn't stop after losing 10. I didn't lose much afterwards, so it was fine. So yeah, after that, I started winning our Welsh Championships then every year since, not far off. So,
and at what point did you realize that I'm really good at this? I could go pro, and I want to go pro.
I never really thought about going pro until in my 20s.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, it never really bothered me about going professional. I was just doing it because I was good at it and I enjoyed it. Yeah, so when I got into my 20s, then that's when we started thinking about turning pro. And obviously I turned pro when I was 24 then, which I could have turned a lot younger, but we chose to turn a bit late.
And when you say we, who helped you in that decision making?
My coach, Pappy.
Okay, the coach, and then
my amateur coach, yeah.
Okay.
Who's been 10.
All right, that's a long time to stick with a coach. Obviously, shows a lot of loyalty from your side as well.
Yeah.
He's probably a good coach.
My professional coach is Tony Borg in Newport, and down here, and Pappy still coaches me and Neil. I got another coach down here as well.
All right, wow, that's really interesting to see that progression from 10 to 24, working with the same coach. Yeah. And then deciding to go pro. Now, in that time, those 14 years of boxing, you said you had quite a few losses. You probably got punched in the face a few times. And has there been a moment where you're like, you know what, screw this, I'm out. I'm done with boxing. And how did you overcome that moment?
Um, I've never really thought I was done with boxing. Um, yeah, I've always wanted. I always knew I was going to be, stick at it forever, but I didn't know about turning professional. Until my coach Pappy advised me to. He advised me to get a new coach, and turn with Tony Borg up in Newport. That's why we went up there. Pappy. It was all Pappy's advice. It was.
And what changed for you then from amateur boxing to say, look, I'm committed, I'm a professional boxer now? That step, is it a step up in mindset in terms of daily routine? What has it changed?
Your life changed, yeah. So basically, I like having a social life as well. So I turned pro late 24, so I can have that social life. I didn't want to turn when I started thinking about it in my 20s, I didn't want to turn when I was 20, so I can miss out on doing things with friends, family, things we miss out on now. Yeah, so it was quite an hard change because I knew all I would have to, slow down and stop, and you have to fully focus on boxing and training and obviously dieting. Yeah, so I wasn't a fan of dieting. Still not a fan of dieting. But yeah, so it is a big change, but I'm glad I made the change. Yeah.
And in terms of when you say still not a fan of dieting, I understand.
Yeah. No.
Is it the cutting the weight, or is it quote unquote clean eating, or what is it that you
Yeah, cutting a weight is fine. I can cut weight. I can make my weight comfortable. Yeah, but like it's a clean eating. Yeah, it's like so. If you're out and about and the boys go for food or family go for a birthday meal, you go for a meal and you go pick and choose what you can have, and it's that's all I miss. I don't miss. It's not the cutting weight isn't hard. I enjoy that part. It's just the clean eating.
Hmm. And what food are you missing most?
I'm gonna have to say my sponsor, Burger Boys. That's one of my sponsors, and it's one of my good friends. So yeah, that's a food I miss.
All right. For me, it would have to be tiramisu dessert. I can't go without it. Like someone's dangling dessert in front of me. I'm like, yeah, that's my weak spot. I claim that's why I didn't go pro. No, I'm joking.
I don't eat. I never crave dessert until when I'm on a diet. That's when I start craving dessert. Otherwise, when I'm off a diet, you never see me eat dessert. It's weird, yeah. But when I'm on a diet, I feel like a dessert.
It's the things we can't have, right?
Yeah.
That's usually what we want most. Now, when you also talk about a routine change to the training, to like the preparation of the fights. What does a regular week for a pro boxer look like?
Yeah, so we train on a Sunday morning in Newport. So I travel 40 miles to Newport. Sunday, Tuesday, Thursdays mornings. Okay. At 10 for 11 o'clock. Then I train in the evenings down in my original gym with Pappy and Neil, Monday, Wednesday and Friday evenings. And obviously got to fit in. Yeah, it's quite busy. The week is busy.
And what do you spend your downtime? I would assume it's a lot of napping whenever I train hard and I need to nap a lot, or what's your main downtime?
I'm not a massive fan of sleep, I'll be honest, so I don't really nap much, but I do chill out a lot, yeah. In between sessions, I just obviously make food and just chill, and by the time, your food settles, you're up and training again, so yeah, there's not much going on. And Saturday, I have a rest on Saturday. Normally that's my treat day, so I normally do go for a meal on a Saturday if weight is good and eat what I want, basically. So yeah, Saturday's the best day.
Okay, interesting. Now you have a fight coming up June 3rd?
Yeah, correct.
June 3rd. What is your prep, as in, without giving away all of the secrets to your opponent, but what is your prep looking like right now?
My prep is great, yeah. I'm feeling good, I'm fit, I'm ready, basically on weight. So yeah, I can fight Saturday if we was allowed, yeah. Instead of waiting another 3 weeks.
Okay, so is that normal for you that you a few weeks ready, a few weeks early, or how that mindset come about that, hey, I need to be ready a little bit earlier than I actually
I'm
find this.
always fighting fit. The weight is where we're not ready at the most. I still got a couple of kilos to lose, but it's not too hard. But fitness wise, I was ready weeks ago. I was training. I've been training for weeks now, sparring my mate Jay as well for his fight, and so I'm fighting fit now.
Now, one thing I wonder is, as we get closer to the fight, obviously you don't want to get injured, right? It's like now is not a good time to get injured.
No.
Do you take it easier in the sparring, or do your sparring partners take it a bit easier on you in this case?
No, sparring. We don't, we don't kill each other, but we don't go like this. It's just sparring. If someone tries killing you and you pick it up, and that's just the way it is. No one takes it easy. You can't take it easy in sparring, can you? Because you can't go into a fight and expect it to be easy. So, yeah, all sparring should be tough, really.
Okay. Interesting. That's just something I was always wondering, because I'm like, hey, I don't hurt me now. I need to be match fit. The one thing that we see with boxing, the Logan Pauls, all of those, the trash talkers coming in. What is the role of trash talk? Are you engaging a little bit in that, quote unquote, for the media, or are you just staying in yours, like, this is me, I'm just handling business in the ring, or is it part of the business now?
Trash talking gets you places where you want to get to. I'm not a trash talker. I would, someone started trash talking me, I'll chat back, but I'm not one of them people. I know what I can do, so I can show that in a ring if needed. But yeah, I don't need to trash talk. I believe I don't need to trash talk to be where I want to be. But it certainly would help if I was that type of person. It'd get me there quicker. But yeah, I'm not that person, unfortunately. But yeah, so like I said, if someone started trash talking to me, of course
You're ready.
100%. Yeah.
Wonderful. We see in, like, between the rounds in the ring, right? There's like it almost seems like the most intense conversations that boxers have with their coaches, and they're like, what's going on in your mind when you're in between sets, in between the rounds, and you're talking to your coach? Do you even hear what they're saying, or are you in the zone? What's that in between time?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
I'd say you gotta listen. You gotta listen to your corner. That's what's gonna get you through a fight, listening. So like, years ago when I was amateur, like when I was young, I didn't really listen much, because in amateur boxing it's so fast, it's 100 miles per hour, then you're going in a corner, and before you know it, you're back out throwing a million punches around. So you don't really have time to listen, but since I've turned professional, I'm listening a lot more in the corner. I listen every round, every single round. I take what's in, and I do what I was told to do. And, then if you listen, and I'm sure you'll come out with a win, and definitely come out safe. And that's the main thing, isn't it?
So have there been, excuse me, have there been instances when your coaches in your corner basically almost like changed tactics halfway through a match, or like, hey, we discussed this, but now that we see the other guy fight, you should really do this?
Yeah, the fights I've won, I've won comfortable, so we didn't really have to change much through the fight. The one fight I lost for that title against Mark McEwen, we had to change things there because obviously we was losing a fight. So yeah, it got that was a different experience in between rounds, like you just said, the minute rest, when you're losing a fight. That's totally different to winning a fight, as you can imagine, obviously. But yeah, that's a totally different experience. It's a good experience, and it's not a nice experience, but it's a good one as well, if that makes sense.
It does. It's a worthwhile experience.
Yeah,
Maybe it's like one of those where like
I look
you
back
know.
now, well, that was a bit crazy and mad, you know. But
Is is there something from that fight that you were like, what do I know now after that fight? There's some learning moments. You're like, this totally makes sense. Here's how I changed doing approaching different
yeah,
things.
1,000,000%. It's been nearly a year now. It was May the 28th last year. So yeah, it's nearly a year. Yeah, learning wise, I learned more from that fight last year than I have in my other 7. So yeah, 1,000,000%. I've learned way more. Completely different now. You know, I don't think, you know, the mistakes I made, I wouldn't make them again, and that's 100%. So yeah, I just can't wait to show people that you know we have improved since that loss last year.
It's it's a really exciting fight coming up as
Yeah.
well, June 3rd. So, what do you expect from the atmosphere of the fight? And how does the atmosphere in the arena make a difference?
Yes, I do well on tickets. My crowd's loud. They are very, very loud. Yeah, so it's crazy. Without them, you know, it'd be a million times harder. But yeah, when I walk out, it's loud in the arena, and it stays loud throughout the fight. So yeah, it's nice. It's really nice.
I see on the social on the well, it's in Instagram and so on. Your fans are pretty dedicated. So if they show up in the arena, as they show up on social,
Yeah.
that's a really good support. Um, we've seen recently Ryan Garcia taking a knee after getting a body shot.
Right. Yeah.
As a professional boxer, there's been a lot of controversy, like, oh, you should have kept fighting. Have there been instances where you, A, what's your perception? And then B, have there been instances when you got hit to the body so hard, you're like, I'm done right now?
I mean, this happened in sparring. It hasn't happened in a fight. You know, I have been hurt in a fight. You know, to the body. I haven't took a knee. But if you are that hurt, the right thing to do is to take a knee. You know, so you can have that 8 seconds rest and get back up and try winning the rest of the fight. You know, if you're really badly hurt. I haven't gone down in a fight, and I don't plan on, to be fair. But if I needed to, then it's got to be done. You know, if I got to take a knee, I got to take a knee.
Okay. It makes a lot of sense, as in, hey, this is what, what
That's,
gets you to win the fight and gives you a little bit of time to breathe.
yeah, of course. You got. You know, if you're badly hurt, just take the knee. You know, otherwise, if a ref jumps in and you don't take a knee, the fight's over. So yeah, you could just be losing that round. You know.
Makes a lot of sense. Now, getting punched in the face is obviously not a pleasant feeling, I would assume. But how does it feel when you land a really good punch?
Um, when you land a good shot, you just automatically land just way more. Then you know you land that one good shot, then it sets you up for another couple of good shots, and you just that keeps going on and on and on. You know, and getting punched in the face, yeah, it's not nice. But I mean, when I haven't been punched in the face for a long time, and we go back in the gym and we get punched, I mean, it does feel nice. Yeah, you think, yeah. I missed this a lot. You know, after COVID, obviously it was 2 years, and we came back, started sparring again. It was nice to get punched in the face. I know it sounds, but it was, yeah, it was good. You know, it was good to be back.
Well, is there, and are you doing anything different now than you did before COVID? Obviously, you've got a lot more experience and you've been a pro for much longer, but has that impacted anything you're doing?
Yeah, you know, like I'm getting to our age now where we need to start pushing on and stuff. You know, after COVID, missing 2 years, I only had 2 fights before COVID, which was 2 4-rounders, and yeah, we came back from COVID. We jumped straight back into a 6-rounder, so we rushed a little bit, and straight into an 8-rounder against an undefeated opponent from Spain. We beat him. When we jumped straight to a 10, and the one I lost last year. So we did rush. We should have had a couple. You know, ideal. You normally should have another couple more 4-rounders, 6-rounders before having that type of title fight. But because of my age and the 2 years we missed from COVID, I asked, to be, and that's what happened. And I continue. I still want to be pushed on. We obviously had a little setback losing that, but we're ready again for another title now.
No, that makes a lot of sense. As in, hey, I feel the pressure, even though you're still pretty young. When we see,
I'm young, but not maybe not boxing young. I don't want to. I don't want to be punched in the head at 40 years old. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how old is Tyson Fury now? Like,
I don't. But I'm getting 40 years old, getting 100 punches in the head.
That's fair. Now we see more and more discussion around CTE and concussions, and like whether it's in American football or even in regular football, like we see that those concussion aspects and the protocols. Is that pushing into boxing, because you are getting punched in the face and hit in the head, and like, is that those type of concussion protocols making a way into the sports? And what is some of the, are you worried sometimes?
No, about my health? No, I know I don't. I mean, of course I'm worried about my health, but I don't think about when we're fighting. I don't think, before it or training, I don't think about my health. I think what I could do. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
I definitely don't think about it after the fight, when you are bruised up and you can't open your jaw. Like my last fight I won, but I still couldn't open my jaw for 2 or 3 days, and I didn't even get caught much. So yeah, you do sit there and think, then what are you doing? But this is my life now. It's all I know in it. So it's got to be done.
And how do you eat? Mainly liquid through a straw, or?
Remember, the next day I woke up, and obviously I've been on a diet for weeks and months. So I was hungry. So I, wanted to eat food. So I bought loads of foods, tried to eat. I couldn't open my jaw. Then it was a bit gutted, so I'd have to just peel it off, and just push it because I was so hungry. But yeah, but it's all worth it. And when you look back and winning and fighting and everyone's watching, it's worth the sore face in the morning and that. It's definitely worth it.
I mean, it's definitely a massive sacrifice that you're making there with, not being able to open your jaw, or like I'd be mostly worried about my nose, and you got a pretty face, so like that's one.
It much. That's who aim again. Don't get it.
Well, it's one of those things. I'm like, it's a physically demanding sport, so
Yeah.
I certainly would be worried, but that's also why I'm not a boxer, and you are the professional here. In terms of rehab, or in terms of almost like not just from a physical perspective, but then also from a mental perspective, are you doing anything to prep you for it, or to do any sort of rehab to calm the mind, to prepare you mentally for it?
I'm quite a calm person. I feel like experience helps with that. Boxing for a long time helps with all the preparation, I had like 100 amateur fights. So, leading up to every one of them fights were tough. In the changing rooms is tough. That's the toughest part, to be fair. In the changing rooms, that's the hardest part about boxing for me, is in the changing rooms, trying to, like you said, calm your nerves, get mentally prepared to fight. You don't know what's going to happen, if you're going to lose, get knocked out, win, you just don't know. So yeah, it's mentally hard to prepare for it, but I'm used to it. I don't need to do anything. I just turn up, and I deal with it as it comes. If I struggle mentally half hour before my fight, I deal with it. Then I don't think about it beforehand. I just think about when it happens.
I cannot imagine that adrenaline that rushes through your body during that time. You got a specific music, a specific song you play to get you ready, or is it you do some breathing exercises to calm that?
I'm normally on last. I'm normally on last on our shows, so I don't need to get ready too early. So, and I normally have a weigh-ins the day before. So, I weigh in, I come to the venue and, nice and chilled. We go for some food, chill out. That's what mainly makes me chill, to be fair. You can eat then after weighing in, of course. So that calms your nerves anyway when you eat, when you just, well, you relax. And yeah, and a lot of boys I box with on the same night, we're a lot of good friends. So we all, we're all with each other in the changing room, we're all talking, and before you know it, it's your time to go on. So yeah, I feel like it just flies by. Next minute, 1 minute you're sitting in a restaurant having some food, and the next minute you're getting your head punched. Yeah.
It sounds really exciting. It's certainly that type of adrenaline that from competing in other sports I understand, but going mano a mano, really, that man against man, I'm like, yeah, that's I would assume that adrenaline that rushes there is much stronger than what I've experienced in other
Yeah,
sports.
you're on your own, and you're gonna, as soon as that bell goes, you're not changing the outcome. It's where's it's gonna happen, isn't it? So, and you don't really know. It doesn't matter how good you think you are, how better you are than the other opponent. It doesn't mean something bad can't happen. It can still happen, which I'm always prepared for. But, we go in there believing we're going to win and knowing we're going to win. But like I said, anything can happen in boxing, can it? So it is still a bit, mentally hard to get ready for it.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, I generally end these interviews asking your recommendations for the next generation of boxers. It's really short. Of like, hey, I feel like you've gone through this process so long. You're like, hey, I waited. Here's my tactics. I want to take a little bit more time to explore your recommendation as someone who is a young boxer who was thinking about going pro, who is an amateur, is doing well. What would you recommend them to do in getting into the game, so to speak? And what are some key takeaways that help you be ready?
Join football. It's a lot easier. Okay. No,
I'm with you.
Yeah, boxing's, my opinion, if not one of the hardest sports in the world. Yeah, so if you do want to box, my recommendation is, keep your weight low. Don't go too high with your weight, because that's the hardest part for me. With the diet, I can make weight easy, but the diet is mentally hard. Yeah, so eat well all the time. Get used to eating well. Train all the time. Don't ever go into a fight unfit. You got to be fit. It's too dangerous to go. And don't do boxing if you're not 100% into it. If you're only 50%, it's not a sport to do if you're only 50%. I mean, you can join a lot of other sports if you're only doing it 50%. You can just join a team sport where you're not really bothered about it. But don't be not bothered and try jumping in a ring and fighting, because it's not going to end well at all.
And I think that brings us back to your mentality at the beginning, where you talked about, like, I lost like 10 out of my first 11 fights, almost. Like, you were in, and I think that mentality is what's probably needed.
Yeah, of course. Like, I weren't half-hearted. I know a lot of boys were, and we was kids back then, so you wasn't getting hurt. If you're 10, 11, or just starting out young, yes, fine to be, not fully committed then, because you're not really going to get hurt. But I mean, when you get to our level, my level, professional level, you can't be 50% into boxing and jump in a ring with someone who's trying to knock you out for 10 rounds or 12 rounds. It's not good. You've got to be fully 100% into it. Yeah, just for safety reasons.
No, that makes a lot of sense when being said, coming from a pro who's been there. Any of those other advice, or any of those, lots of people want to connect with you, make sure to head over to the SPRTER app, connect with Josh over there as well. He's got some great experiences there. And connect with him all of the socials. He's got a fight coming up June 3rd. I won't let him go without asking him about his goals for the rest of 2023.
Right. Yeah. So we'll win this next fight, June the 3rd, against a Brazilian, tough Brazilian. I think he was number 2 in Brazil. He was number 1 and he lost the other day. So he's number 2 at a minute. So it's going to be a tough fight. We'll get past him. Hopefully in September we can try pushing for a title. If not, then another tough fight. We're going to go down a weight as well. Then hopefully we get a big fight before the year ends. Definitely at the new weight. You know, I boxed featherweight my last title, which was a bit too big for me. So we're going down to either bantam or super bantam, either one. But yeah, we're ready for titles at that weight now. You know, we just got to be patient for someone to willing to fight for these titles.
Okay. So step by step to the top.
Step by step, yeah. But let's, you know, not slowly, or like I said, we're running out of time, and we are. You know, regardless of, you know I'm young, but we are running out of time for boxing wise. So yeah, we need to push on now. We need to, you know, if I can't beat these people now, I'm never going to beat them. So may as well chuck me in the ring with them now and see what happens. I'd rather find out sooner than later.
Fair enough. Sounds like step by step to the top, but quickly.
As quick as possible. You know, I'm ready to just move quick. I can have, you know, the next fight we can make it the biggest fight I've ever had. It's fine. We'll be ready for it, you know. So it's just, you know, obviously I got to listen to my manager, my coach, my team. It's down to them, of course. So I'm just listening and just doing what I do, and just hope you know, it happens fast, because, like I said, I don't want to get punched in the head when I'm 40.
Fair enough. And with that, good luck on the fight. Thank you so much for joining the SPRTER Podcast.
Me on.
Great insights, and we will support on June 3rd from afar. Good luck with the fight and heading over to the top.
Thank you very much, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
Later. Bye.